Welcome to the Deep Dive. If you're thinking about renting a car anytime soon, maybe for a vacation, you probably know the market feels like, well, a bit of a gamble sometimes.
Yeah, it really can.
But for some places, that volatility isn't just a feeling, it's pretty much guaranteed. And right now, we're looking hard at one specific spot, Maui, Kahului Airport, OGG.
That's right. Our sources, dated October 12th, 2025, they're showing something pretty dramatic. It looks like the market there just flipped. A really sudden shift
Flipped into what exactly?
into full-on high-season pricing. And this happened fast, like just in the last couple weeks.
Okay, so that's our mission today. If you're planning a trip, maybe heading there soon, this is crucial. We need to unpack this source material, figure out what this high season pricing actually means right now, see how it stacks up against, historical costs.
And also bust some myths, right? Like that old favorite, renting off airport is always cheaper. We need to see where that's maybe falling apart now.
Definitely. So the big reveal, just to set the stage.
Right. And the main takeaway is this. Forget low season prices in Maui for now. They're gone. What we're seeing is comparable to the really peak times, think July summer rush or January, February winter travel, minus the big holidays, of course.
So time to adjust the budget expectations, basically.
Absolutely. You really need to recalibrate right now.
All right, let's dig into that shift. How does the data prove, definitively, that the low season's over?
Well, the data throws up two really clear red flags, signals that we're in high demand mode now.
Okay, what's the first one?
The first is pretty simple, actually. The cost for almost every type of car. It's way up. We're talking a big premium compared to the typical price over the last year, that 52-week median.
A substantial premium.
Got it.
And the second flag, this one sounds like it hits travel planning directly.
Yeah, this is the kicker for strategy. It's the reversal on booking ahead.
Yeah.
For most of 2024, weirdly, you could often get a better deal by waiting until the last minute. Maybe booking 5 weeks out was more expensive sometimes.
Right, that was a strange trend.
Well, that's over. Dead. The sources confirm it. Booking last minute now costs you more, often substantially more than booking ahead. And that's like classic high season behavior, high demand.
So waiting cost people actual money this time.
Yep. If you waited, you lost out.
Okay, let's put some numbers on this. For someone trying to rent a car starting this week, October 13th, what's the absolute cheapest they could find, according to the data?
If you really looked, the rock bottom price was an economy car from Thrifty. $340 for the week.
$340. How does that compare to last week?
That's up 9% just from the week before. But honestly, that's not the real story here. The shock is in the bigger vehicles, the ones families often need.
Ah, okay. Here's where the budget really takes a hit then.
Right.
Which cars saw those really massive percentage jumps? We're talking triple digits, right?
Yeah, the jumps were kind of unbelievable. The 7-seat SUV category, it shot up 105%. I mean, it literally more than doubled its price in a week.
Doubled. Wow. To what price?
It landed at $4,480 a week. That was specifically from budget. And the regular SUV, the standard size, not far behind, up 65% to $992 a week from Sixt.
Ouch. $992 to $4,480. That's a huge chunk of a vacation budget just vanishing.
It really is. A massive hit if you're planning on one of those.
I did see in the sources convertibles didn't spike this particular week.
That's correct, yeah. Convertibles held steady this week. Still expensive, though. $196 from Payless. But the data shows they'd already made their big move. They surged the 2 weeks before this.
Ah, okay. So they were already locked in at these super high prices before the SUVs caught up this week.
Exactly. They were already sitting at that high season level.
So, okay, we've seen the week-to-week jump. But to really understand the pain point for listeners, we need to compare these current prices to the 52-week median, the sort of typical price over the whole past year. That shows the real premium, doesn't it?
Right. And this is where it goes from just expensive to almost prohibitive for some people. For those popular Maui vehicles, the family ones, the fun ones, you're basically paying a premium that feels like a ransom.
Okay, give us the numbers. How bad is it?
Take the regular SUV. Current price, $992 per the room. That's a massive 146% over its typical median price of $404.
Wait, 146%, so nearly 2.5 times the usual cost?
Exactly. It's nuts. And the 7-seat SUV, even worse. It's commanding 149% premium, $1,480 now, versus its median of $595.
Wow.
Yeah. And even the convertible, which didn't jump this week, remember, still $11,196. That's a 91% premium over its $626 median, so still almost double the typical price.
It really feels like anything larger than a sedan is just getting priced out of reach for a lot of travelers. But hang on, there was one exception mentioned, wasn't there? Minivans, they were showing a discount.
Yes, that's right. Minivans are currently listed at a 5% discount compared to their 52-week median. But this is a perfect example of where you need to look deeper than the headline number.
Okay, why is that 5% discount maybe misleading?
Well, the median price itself was kind of artificially high. The sources explain it was inflated over the summer.
Why was it inflated?
Because of a specific shortage linked to that big Chrysler minivan safety recall, remember that? It limited the available fleet, demand stayed high, so prices spiked unnaturally high for a while.
Ah, okay, so the median was already skewed high because of that recall issue.
Exactly. So yeah, a 5% drop from that inflated median looks okay, but it doesn't mean minivans are suddenly a bargain in a normal historical sense. It just means that temporary shortage pricing is easing off a bit.
Got it. That makes sense. So if we zoom out again, look at the year-over-year picture. Comparing prices now to this time last year, it seems like there's this split happening, like a two-tiered market.
That's a really crucial insight for anyone budgeting. The market has definitely split. If you look at the basic cars like economy or minivans, the prices now are actually pretty similar to 52 weeks ago, maybe slightly down, maybe flat. Economy is down 8%, minivan down just 1%, manageable.
Okay, but if you want something bigger or, let's say, more fun,
Then hold on to your wallet. You are paying way, way more than last year. Double, sometimes more. For those specialty categories, SUVs, the seven-seaters, the convertibles, the current prices are just astronomical compared to a year ago.
no, astronomical.
The seven-seat SUV is up 157% compared to last year. The convertible, up 109%.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the real consequence for you, the listener. The type of car you choose now dramatically changes whether your rental cost is just okay or completely crippling.
Okay, let's go back to the booking strategy piece. We confirmed waiting costs people money, specifically for someone wanting a car starting tomorrow, October 13th.
Yeah.
They took it 5 weeks ago versus booking it today. How much more are they paying now?
It's a pretty steep penalty. The data tracked that exact start date. It found the cost for an OGG rental shot up by 38% over those last 5 weeks as the date got closer.
38%, just
Yeah.
in 5 weeks.
Yep. That 38% jump really proves the market is punishing procrastination right now, which, again, just confirms we're deep into a high demand phase.
This volatility is, well, it's worrying. And it makes you wonder about the forecast, right? What are the booking systems suggesting for the rest of this fall, say October, November 2025?
Yeah, the forecast looks unpredictable. The systems are hinting at a possible roller coaster pattern, sharp, sudden price surges followed by equally sharp drops, no real stability.
A roller coaster. Does that match what happened recently?
It does, actually. It sounds very much like the fall price movements we saw last year. They were notoriously erratic, ups and downs all over the place.
And that's a big change from how things used to be historically, like
Yeah.
before all the recent market weirdness.
Oh, absolutely. A huge deviation.
Yeah.
If you look back at the long-term data, say 2013 to 2018, the pattern was totally different. Prices would climb in early October, then they'd settle onto this high, stable plateau right through December, just peaking again for Christmas week.
Predictable, basically.
Right, predictable even if high. This forecast of wild swings, this roller coaster, it's the opposite of that historical stability, and that's a fundamental shift for how you have to approach planning.
Okay, let's tackle that conventional wisdom piece. The big myth we need to look at. Everyone always says, rent off airport. Avoid the airport fees. Save money. Simple, right. But the sources say in Maui, that's breaking down.
Yeah, it's not so simple anymore. For your standard cars, the basic stuff, the old advice generally still holds. If you look at the 52-week median prices, you typically do save money off airport for economy or compact cars, about 20% savings. Minivans, too, around 30% savings. Even regular SUVs show about a 14% saving off airport on average.
Okay, so for the basics, off airport is still cheaper. That's what you'd expect. But for the cars people often really want in Maui, the Jeeps, the convertibles, the big SUVs, the data shows the opposite.
Exactly. Over that same 52-week median period for Jeeps, convertibles, and those seven-seat SUVs, the average price at the airport, OGG, was actually lower.
Wait, lower at the airport? How does that even work? Aren't you paying extra airport taxes and fees? Why would specialty cars be more expensive off airport when the basic ones are cheaper?
Well, the sources point to a couple of things, mainly boiling down to supply and demand for those premium vehicles. First, the price difference is real and significant, that seven-seat SUV. The median price off airport was 44% higher than at OGG.
44% more just to rent it somewhere else? That's massive.
It is. And convertibles and Jeeps were also about 14% more expensive off airport on average over the year.
Okay, so they cost more off-site. What's the other factor?
Availability. This is probably the key. For those three categories, Jeep, convertible, 7-seat SUV, the data shows there often just isn't any availability off airport at all.
So you can't even rent them there half the time.
Pretty much. The main fleets, especially for specialty stuff, seem concentrated at the airport. So if you definitely want that specific type of vehicle, the airport might be your only reliable option. The airport cost becomes the only cost, effectively.
So you're paying a premium off-airport if you can even find one. That really flips the usual advice on its head.
It really does, especially for those popular vehicle types.
Okay, and just quickly, context-wise, how did Maui stack up against the other Hawaiian islands price-wise this past week? Was it the most expensive spot?
No, surprisingly not. As of October 6th, Maui's OGG was actually the fourth cheapest out of the 5 main airports surveyed.
Fourth cheapest. That's unusual, isn't it?
Highly unusual. Maui had been the cheapest overall for something like 21 out of the 27 weeks before that. This week, Kauai, LAH, was the real outlier, way more expensive at $474 average, while the other 4 islands were kind of clustered together price-wise.
Just goes to show how quickly things can change island to island, week to week. Okay, let's wrap this up. What are the absolute key takeaways from this deep dive into the OGG data that our listeners need to keep front of mind?
Okay, first, high season is undeniably here. We know this because prices, especially for family vehicles and specialty cars, are way up over the median. And crucially, that weird last-minute discount trend, it's reversed. Waiting to book now costs you more.
So booking ahead is generally safer again, but expect high prices regardless.
Right. And second, that counterintuitive thing about off-airport rentals. For the high-demand stuff, Jeeps, 7-seaters, convertibles, forget the always cheaper off-airport rule. The data shows it's often more expensive, and sometimes they're just not available off-site anyway.
So the specialty market is pricey and volatile, and the usual tricks might not work.
Pretty much sums it up.
All right, before we sign off, let's leave everyone with a final thought, something to chew on based on this data. We talked about how historically the fall season in Maui was stable, predictable high prices, but last year saw that price roller coaster. And now the current forecast suggests more of the same erratic pattern.
Yeah, and that really raises a big question, doesn't it? Is this fall price roller coaster becoming the new normal for Maui car rentals? Is it actually replacing that old predictable pattern of a steady high season?
And if this volatility is the new normal, what does that mean for planning? Can you even rely on traditional shoulder seasons or low seasons in the same way anymore, at least in this specific, very popular market?
It suggests planning might need to become much more dynamic, much less reliant on past seasonal assumptions.
Something to definitely think about next time you're hovering over that Book Now button, wondering if you should wait or lock it in. That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.